in the context of financial statement attestation, you can judge it by whether the number of agencies getting qualified certificate from me has gone up or has gone down. Meaning, if it gone down, there's been improvement. So the answer is it has gone down. So people have actually improved. So in that context, I will say that there is improvement. Similarly, in the case of financial management under the accountability index, since we only introduced it in 2007, so we take comparison between the latest report and 2008 report. If last time there were only about 4, right, ministries who got 4-star, yeah, excellent. Now I believe it's about 14. So isn't that a big improvement? I mean, you have to recognize that. So in that context, there has been improvement. Now the performance audit, very difficult to say whether there will be improvement or not, because we are talking about every year is a different subject, it's a different agency. Understand? Sometimes we go to the same agency, but we audit different types of project. Well, every method has its own risk. Okay, even for tender, you know, sometimes people, they win the tender, they quote unreasonably low prices, and then along the way they run away, and the project get stranded. To revive the project, you have to call for another tender, and that delay the project, and then they have to do a remeasurement based on what the progress has been achieved. In the end, invariably, the cost will go up. So to me, you ask me whether it's open tender, negotiated tender, or direct nego, important thing is before you select anybody, do a proper job lah. Find out the track record, be confident about their capacity to undertake the job within that period, because one of the realities that this contractor, they have other jobs. Okay, you may be a contractor trying to get tender from me. At the same time, you can be also a contractor for other project, or you can be a subcontractor to a bigger project in the private sector, and you don't disclose this to me. I assume that you only do project for me, but in reality, you are looking at a number of projects at one time, you know. So if one or two of these projects into trouble, your cash flow, you have to manage, to reduce the risk. I'm talking about reducing the risk. You cannot make hasty decision lah. You must do proper search. You really must research the background, the company lah, their track record, their financial standing. You can compare. For example, I give example. A tenderer, you are a tenderer, kan? You masuk my department punya tender. I would be interested to know, okay, in the past, where did you do this work? So you say this other department, right? What I will do is, I will go and check the department. This company, have they done a good job or not? If that department say, yeah lah, we are happy, at least you get some comfort, you know, that because probably you are dealing with unknowns, you know. You do not know enough the company. This is what I mean by diligent lah. You must. That's what I mean by not making hasty decision. That's what I mean. So you have to be meticulous. But risk will be there. The nature of, I say, shortcomings, weaknesses, tend to be the same every year because of shortcoming in terms of planning, in terms of implementation, in terms of monitoring. But the entities are different. Can I be a little bit philosophical? Okay. We are all human beings, right? We have our own imperfections. We make mistakes. Sometimes the mistakes are small, sometimes the mistakes are big. So what we don't want is big mistakes lah, which cause the losses to the government, additional expenditure and things like that. But to expect everybody to be of the same level, you know, in terms of efficiency, in terms of diligence, I don't think it's realistic, isn't it? Because as I said just now, in any government organization, people come, people go. Sometimes new batch of people come, relatively inexperienced, you know. Let's say doing project management, yeah. And on the other side, you're dealing with businessmen, you know, whose concern is, you know, profits and all that. And they know what they're talking about. You're dealing with you're an officer. You just joined, like you join government, and I put you to negotiate with one big contractor. You name any one. Yeah. So depend on your level of knowledge, your level of competency, yeah, your negotiation negotiation skills. Independent review panel is for big projects. So we suggested maybe projects worth 100 million and over should be subjected to independent review panel. What do you mean by independent? Independent means, suppose your friend here gets a project, I ask you to give an opinion about his proposal in terms of let's say in terms of the cost of the project, in terms of the design of the project, in terms of the standards to be used, the standards of quality. Yeah? So the whole objective is to get good value for money. Perhaps it's good to have a second opinion so that we don't we can prevent, to use your word, problems later on, you know. Because normally you can read from our report, what are the normal weakness of project management? Number one, projects tend to get delayed, right? For whatever reason. Okay? And when the project get delayed, there will be additional costs. That's normal, right? And then substandard quality. And if this are not rectified in time, the government end up to have to spend additional money to repair things. That is because, again, I think related to the issue of supervision. Somebody has to be held responsible for that, in my humble opinion. Doesn't that suggest to you that, you know, in the first place, this thing shouldn't happen? Why would you pay something if the cost of the thing you can buy from Giant or Tesco for 15 ringgit? Why you want to pay 50 ringgit? Unless what? You know what I mean? So why do this thing happen? Maybe because we have people who are having problem with their integrity. That we recognize. I mean, anywhere you can have people deliberately trying to find the loopholes, you know, for their own benefit. That is also another popular question asked of me. My answer is, I don't know. We don't do that kind of estimate. We don't really see the need to do that because we must be sure. I don't want to sensationalize things, you know, and say, oh, the country lost 1 billion because I cannot. If people ask me, can you justify? I cannot. So when you can't, why should you do something that you cannot defend? Then it becomes an issue. And then you put in the newspaper, oh, lost how many billions, and then pick up by other country. Oh, is that good for the country? I mean, you have to be. I mean, my business is not to sensationalize things. My business is to report as accurately as possible what is happening. Alright. Since I mentioned to you just now that we don't do a total audit at one go, it's very difficult for me to make estimate how much losses. You can calculate, you read one by one, you can calculate. If only people do their work, deep in their heart they know that they are being audited, I'm sure they will do their best, to do a good work. The trouble is sometimes people think that they will not be audited. Nobody will know, you see. But if they are unlucky, the case come out, then they have to face it lah. I agree with you. They don't fear me as a person. Fear that you'll be audited. Okay? And of course I always say fear God. If you are God fearing, you won't do you always do a good job. Your conscience tells you that you have to do a good job. That means you must be hardworking, you must be diligent, you must be competent. So that these are the values that allow you to do a good job and prevent you from making big mistake lah, serious mistake. Sometimes it's sheer inefficiency, nothing to do with corruption, nothing to do with penyelewengan all that. And I must tell you, we talk about corruption, penyelewengan, these are all criminal, and you have to prove. If you bring a person to court and he wins the case, legally he's not corrupted. You see?
Yeah.
So when you say corruption, what do you mean? You have to define what you mean. Of course, as a taxpayer, I get upset lah when I see all those imprudent cases, isn't it? Like any other taxpayer lah. But as Auditor-General, I acknowledge that, as I said earlier to you, that whenever there are human beings, you can expect to get some imperfections. But the more important thing is, I hope our report will serve to help people improve themselves. At least they can know where in the past mistakes have been made. Okay.